They say that it is the most prestigious award for advocacy on behalf of victims of crime. And I'm also told, doing a little research, that Frank Carrington was regarded, or is regarded, as the father of the crime victims' rights movement in this country. So Stephanie Richard is our deserving recipient today, and certainly she is very deserving. Miss Richard, or Stephanie, has dedicated all of her energies and her legal acumen and passion on behalf of victims, those who are too often voiceless, powerless, and often forgotten in the criminal justice system. She's been especially a warrior for victims who have endured unspeakable acts as victims of human trafficking, which we know today is a modern-day form of slavery. I also was so impressed that she has led a team of staff and volunteer lawyers, you know how difficult that can be, across this great country, seeking justice, both civil and criminal and administrative, on behalf of these victims. I went over to her just to introduce myself, and I asked her, and by the way, if you notice, it was really hard. The reason we couldn't tell Matt which was which is they're identical twins. And I'm a mother of identical twins, so, but I asked Stephanie, I said, I introduced myself, and I said, I'm going to say a few words on your behalf. What are you most proud of? And she just looked at me and she said, well, I guess I'm most proud of all the criminal justice reform that we've done in California that ensures that victims of human trafficking who may have committed crimes as part of their sexual exploitation are not prosecuted. So congratulations, everybody. Everybody, please welcome Stephanie Richard. You get in the middle.
So I'm really nervous. This is my very first award, but I just feel really proud today to stand here and thank the American Bar Association so much to receive an award on behalf of the victims that I serve every day. It's an special honor to receive this award from the American Bar Association because of their leadership on human trafficking issues. They had spearheaded an initiative with the Uniform Law Commission that really created the model law on human trafficking that can be passed throughout the states. They've also done such invaluable outreach and training on this topic because, as we know, modern-day slavery really exists in our own backyards because we haven't recognized it for so long. And they have created an amazing team of pro bono partners that practitioners like me in the field are able to use each day. When I started working on anti-trafficking issues in 2002, it was only generally understood that survivors were foreign national victims and they just needed immigration attorneys. What I quickly learned in working with survivors, men, women, and children, US citizens and foreign nationals, is that they would often be involved in all three court systems at once: criminal, both as victims and as criminal defendants, civil, and immigration. And what they needed was one lawyer who could stand up for their rights in all areas. Now, I've worked at the Coalition to Abolish Slavery and Trafficking in Los Angeles for 10 years, and I've seen the growth in this movement. And I've been able to stand with other lawyers to give survivors voices. My best memories have been when a survivor really stands up straight and walks in a court proud, or feels like someone has their back and isn't exploiting them. Other memories I have is when I partner with my prosecutor friends to assert the right that not only defendants, but victims have the right to a speedy trial. When victims have waited 4 years because of defense efforts and that emotional toll on them, and the court upholds that motion. Or when a victim receives that check for restitution for $100,000 in court that same day because it was written into the plea deal. When families who have been separated for 10 years are reunited. So I've been really, really lucky through my career to get to stand with people who are amazing. But I've also had to stand with many survivors when their criminal case has been declined, when they feel like they weren't believed, when they've been arrested for crimes their traffickers forced them to commit, and then are barred from housing, employment, and benefits, and have to tell their story again and again to navigate systems that traumatize and re-victimize them. And there's still so much to do, so I have to take the time to thank all my pro bono partners because they make a small legal program like Cass Voice mighty. So I especially want to thank pro bono partner Aiken Gump, who has represented Cass pro bono here federally and in California with our state level legislative efforts to engage in systemic change. And most importantly, to engage our survivor advocates that we regularly bring to DC so that survivor voices are heard. I have to thank Munger, Tolson Olson, who has protected our confidential shelter location from being revealed to defendants' attorneys on Christmas Eve, no less. And they've made sure that no privileged documents has ever gotten into the hands of defendants. I have to thank Gimson Dunn, who for 3 years has been standing with me in front of the California Crime Victims Board to try to change their rules so that human trafficking victims can finally get access to lost income during their trafficking experience. As the rules are written now, no trafficking victim, despite the nature of the crime, right, is eligible for these benefits. And Arnold Porter, who has made sure that trafficking survivors received restitution even when their traffickers are not charged as traffickers. So these unique arguments that we're making under our law. And then Dykema and Dentons, who's partnered with survivors themselves to help them draft the legislation they envisioned in both Arizona and California to reform the criminal justice system on their terms. So all of these unique things have empowered survivors across the country and would not be possible without the American Bar Association, I think, really standing as a champion for pro bono service. And so I have one more commitment to ask the American Bar Association today. I want to ask that in 10 years, my commitment is that we will end modern-day slavery in our lifetime, but I would like the American Bar Association to commit that every victim has an attorney in the same way that our defendants do. And so thank you all for your partnership and your strength and this award today.